We'll see if Julia pops in. Since we do have a new member joining us today, can we do introductions first, maybe? And then we'll do minutes after that. So welcome, Shweta. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay, awesome. Please correct us if we get it wrong.
Absolutely.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Melissa Liebert. This is my first meeting leading as chair, taking over for the wonderful Kelly Williams, who we are lucky enough still have as a member. My day job is the development director at WGLT, our public radio station on the campus of Illinois State University. This is my first term on the commission, and thrilled to have you. So welcome. And I'm going to go just in order on my screen, which is next is Kelly.
Yeah, so Kelly Williams, Shweta, wonderful to see you as part of the part of our group, part of our commission. She was appointed a week ago, I think, 2 weeks ago. Anyway, at City Council.
Yes.
And yes, this is my second term on the commission. I've lost track. And my day job is in public affairs and HR at State Farm.
Jim is next on my screen.
Good morning. My name is Jim Mack. I work for the city of Bloomington. I am staff liaison for this commission. My job with the city is manager of the BCPA, the arena, and the cultural center. Yeah, so that's what I do. And if you have any issues related to anything to do with the commission, of course, talk to Melissa first, and then Melissa talks to me, and we get it fixed.
Okay.
Meryl's next.
Good morning. My name is Meryl Brown. I'm actually the co-chair or the vice chair. There was some, little loophole things there, but yeah, no, I'm the co-chair with Melissa of this commission. So Meryl Brown, I own the founder and director of Developing Melodies Music Therapy Center here in Bloomington. This is my second-ish term. I don't know, because I believe I covered someone else's term who had moved on. So it's like my first and a half. And super glad that all of our new folks are here, and really nice meeting you. So good seeing everybody's faces today.
Tina.
Oh, hi, I'm Tina Sipula. I'm kind of the next newbie, Shweta. So you and I will be going through this together. I've never met the group in person because I came in during COVID, and I am presently retired from running a place called Clare House for almost 40 years, where I helped to feed and shelter the homeless and hungry and disenfranchised. And now I'm hoping to sit down and write about all that. And I'm happy to be here.
Jeff.
Good morning, Jeff Pitzer. Grew up here in Bloomington, but ended up moving to Nashville, Tennessee, and lived there for 22 years and worked in doing recording and producing music down there in the music business. Since I've moved back, and I work as a financial advisor here, but I still do part-time some of the recording studio business. Oh, and just so you all know, I sent a message to Melissa, but my wife broke her foot, so I will need to be doing some driving of kids to school. So you might see my video disappear from time to time, but I'm still here, still listening. I can still chime in. So
Awesome. Do what you need to do. Angelique.
There we go. Okay. My name is Angelique Rachki. I am the director and founder of BCAI, Cultural Arts and Humanities. And I'm pretty sure I'm in my third term, but I'm not completely positive. It kind of all runs together, and then you lose track of time. I'm not sure what else to say, but yeah, we're here.
Shannon.
was busy taking some notes. Hey, I'm Shannon, support staff for the BCPA. I'm here to take notes. That's why I'm logged on.
Shannon keeps us organized. Mark.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Sweat. I welcome to our group. My name is Mark Hawks. I teach over here at Illinois Wesleyan University, and I think I've been on the commission for around 2 years. I did take somebody else's partial term or something too. I don't remember, but yeah, welcome. I think we're going to do new and exciting things this year when we're all free to roam the earth again.
Let's see. I'm gonna skip you, Shweta, since you're not. I'll let you go last.
Yes.
Julie.
Hello, my name is Julia Kozad-Callaghan. I have been on the commission for 3 years. I just finished up my first term and applied for my second. As my day job, I work at Normal Public Library. I'm a cataloger, and I also teach yoga at the library. I've been in Bloomington for about 10 years, and like my music and arts connection is that I play in a professional handbell choir based in Springfield. I've also done some community theater pits and stuff over the years. So welcome.
Handbell choir. I didn't know that. I love that. Ron. Ron made it to his office, but he's on mute.
Ron, you're muted.
How about that? Is it working?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So my name's Ron Crick. I've been on the commission 3 or 4 years, maybe not that long, but lived in Bloomington for 12 years. I live in downtown. And as a profession, I go out and try and sell stuff. So that keeps me on the road a bunch all over central and northern Illinois. I've been involved in a number of things, performance arts, also producing some large events, and just look at Bloomington as an opportunity for more things to happen. And I think now this group is sort of coming together with some energy and some more interest than we've had before. So good. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is our first fully staffed positioned council or commission. I don't know what I'm saying. RJ, are you there?
Ma'am.
RJ's there. Good morning.
How are ya? Hi, I'm RJ McCracken. I'm the events director for Let's Party Rental, where I plan parties and such, weddings, quinceañeras, everything, all over the county area, especially Bloomington. This is my first term coming to an end here in March, just like Julia. Hoping we get reaffirmed, coming back as long as we've stayed in favor with the council. I think we've done okay though. So I'm excited to work with you, Shweta. I've heard about you through friends and things. So look forward to working with you.
Super.
John?
Hi, I'm Jonghyun Kim. I'm the artistic manager for the city of Bloomington. I work for Jim. So whenever Jim says what to do, I just do it.
And pronounce your name for us one more time. I need to practice too.
Jonghyun.
Jonghyun.
Jong, you know, Jong, like a gong sound. That's exactly the same meaning. Jong, the bell, huge Liberty Bell. Jonghyun, shining bell. That's my name.
Thank you, and please correct us.
Oh, that's beautiful. Shining bell. That's wonderful. I love that
that
backstory.
Yeah, and with my family name, it's a shining golden bell.
Perfect. I love that. Okay, I think we have everyone, and Shweta, we'll have you go last and tell us about yourself, and we will not quiz you on any names.
Absolutely. So my name is Shweta, as all of you know by now. And I have lived in the city for about 12, 13 years now, I believe, or maybe more. I know the city very well. And as of now, I was kind of very busy raising my child, but you know, he's a high schooler now and he's applying for colleges and will be ready for college now. So, and through this journey of my stay in Bloomington, I have grown in different ways. I have learned a lot of things. I have not only explored Bloomington, but I have kind of explored the world a lot. I have seen different cultures. I have seen different kind of people. And one thing that kind of interested me to come and join this group in particular was the missing piece that I saw, that, this is a very important community. This is a very important commission in Bloomington. And somehow there wasn't enough connect with the Indian community, which is like a large Indian community in this city. So with whatsoever connections that I have, and with so many events that keeps happening, I kind of wanted to be part of this. I see it as a fun commission, and see how I can fill the gap. I have moved on to a very leadership role in my organization, where I serve as my day job. I work as the CEO of the company. So I kind of have little time on me now to, also see how I can come out and give back to the community with all the experiences that I have. So that was the major interest, that why I wanted to join this particular community.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And like I said, I think this is the first time we've had all of our commissioners present, and we're ready to go, ready to rock and roll into a new year. Yeah. So hopefully everyone had a chance to take a peek at the minutes. Thanks again to our fearless Shannon for putting those together. Is there any changes or a move to approve those?
So moved.
Was that RJ, or who was that?
Yeah, RJ.
Thank you, RJ. We have a second?
I'll second.
Is that Jeff?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, thank you. So I did not, obviously, from the transition to Kelly to myself, we all spoke a couple of weeks ago. We did not see a need for any old business, making sure there's no requests from the audience for old business. I think we're ready to move on to our poll results, which Kelly graciously put together for us based on, again, the vision statements and desires for us and our committee and our work together in the new year. We had a laundry list, and then we each took a turn ranking those, and the results have been shared with you. So I wanted to go through those today and maybe talk about some priorities. And I would like everyone to think about a potential subcommittee that they would like to join. I'll ask Jim or Kelly to correct me if I'm wrong, but now since we have 10 members, we should be able to meet in groups of.
So we have 11, actually.
Oh, we have 11.
Yeah, even better, even better. So Jamie Matthew once told me it was like half of a quorum, like Jim's nodding. Yeah, that's roughly the rule. So 3, we could meet in groups of 3 because quorum would be 6 with a majority. That means that, 6 of us would have to be present to vote on anything. So half of that would not be a majority of those 6. So like 3 people really couldn't vote and pass anything for the whole group because it doesn't reach over half of a quorum. So yes, you can meet in groups of 3, which means you could actually use reply all. What a concept amongst those 3. But no more than that. If we need to do more than that, or if 2 committees want to meet together, now we're under open meetings law, which can still be done. It just means that it has to be published. You'd have to work with Shannon. It would have to be done like this meeting. So it would just have to be published to the website, and city tech services, particularly right with the virtual concept, has to be brought in. Someone has to be here at City Hall for whatever unknown reason. And then, so yeah, you need a week run up to a larger meeting than 3, but 3 people can meet. And for Shweta's benefit, to explain that reply all, when a email is sent out to all 11 of us, it can't turn into a conversation because then it's under open meeting laws for Illinois. It needs to be public if we're discussing things amongst the 11 of us. So we can't reply all, but you can certainly reply to Melissa or whoever sent the email individually, but we can't get into a conversation.
All that fun stuff.
Mhm.
Thank you for that explainer. So that being said, I will hope that we can get, potentially 3 committees up and running with 3 members each. Meryl and I can figure out maybe a system where we can then chat with just the chairperson maybe of each of those 3 subcommittees, to again keep it below. Obviously we don't need to add more complications to our lives if we can avoid it. So we'll try that, and we'll kind of see how this goes. We'll adjust as we need. So advocacy. I just want to go over quickly the high points in that group. And again, I know this is sort of counterintuitive, but low number again would be the top vote getter from this group. So advocacy, I see as our push outwardly. So this is where we talked about serving as a liaison to different groups. So inviting folks in, the representatives from different organizations and cultures and groups to attend our meetings as guests or to come and make public comment and give us an update on what's going on with them would be under that first bullet. I think, Kelly, this is where our master list of groups would fall into this group, which we need to get updated. So that would probably be priority 1 for this group also. I wanted to ask Jim about the city manager and assistant city manager roles. And we had talked about inviting Billy Tyus to one of these meetings. Is that where you see this? Could this group work with you to do that? Or would that be best through you? I don't see you joining a subcommittee, Jim.
No, I mean, if you need me to be at any subcommittee meeting, I'm more than happy to attend. As far as bringing the city manager and the assistant city manager to a meeting, my suggestion would be to contact them directly, Melissa, by email. Carbon copy me if you would like. But the first thing they're going to ask is, why do you want me to come to the meeting? So yeah. Without being blunt, you better have a pretty good reason because they're busy.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But they would be more than happy to attend. That's what they're all about. They definitely want to participate in any and all commissions, but at the same time, they're busy. So, but that would be how you would make that happen. A direct invitation from yourself on behalf of the commission. Well,
and this, we can chat with the folks that are interested in being a part of this subcommittee, but I do think it's probably time, pending what's happening with the Public Art Commission, to maybe get an update on that group's formation or the timeline for that group, just so we can sort of adjust and plan for that. So.
And that would definitely be Mr. Tyus.
Yeah. Thank you. Strengthening the cultural district. I think that obviously can be left open to interpretation, outreach, again, and then as needed and as appropriate, perhaps, the lowest ranking item on here is outreach letters to the editor type function. So any questions about advocacy? Are people interested in joining that group? Potentially, you can think about it. Okay, you don't have to decide today, but I am going to ask for homework for everyone to send me their top choices for subcommittees, especially if you'd be willing to lead that subcommittee. That would be awesome.
Melissa, are we going to then just go with the top vote getters on that those lists and just go with that, and then as our priorities, and then join or not join a given committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting spot. I'm actually hoping that once the subcommittees are formed, I mean, these three subcategories, advocacy, education, and support, are, as you probably saw today on our agenda, directly tied to the mission of our group. But I think within each of those silos, I want to give the subcommittee the freedom to chat amongst themselves and decide within these priority areas, maybe what are the most important, or of course, if we're missing something. But I think that can be a productive discussion among a couple people versus the entire group. But if you guys see something missing today, or something that you've thought of, obviously this was 2 months ago already. So certainly mention those today, and we can add to our list.
I wanted to chime in. I was playing with the raise hand function. I wanted to chime in and just say, Mark, what we had discussed when I met, when we were talking about the transition with Melissa, myself, and Kelly, is that each of the subcommittees there is a subcommittee of advocacy, there is a subcommittee of education, and a subcommittee of support. And within those so choosing which, those are the three committees. That's what we had kind of, as I interpreted when we discussed, those are the three committees. And among those committees, what we have is the order in which the priorities were set. And then, though nothing's saying that if you meet, a certain goal within that subcommittee, you can't move to the next one. Of course you can. That would be really cool if we did all 20 things on here in 1 year, but that might not happen. So that is, similar to what we did last year with the Post-its. For those who are newer on the committee, we had done a very similar thing where we all put our priorities, and then we had a board in front of us and we threw Post-its on it on where we wanted to put our efforts. And I think Mark, you and I were on a similar committee at that point. So yeah, sorry, I'm just talking. It's early. I have to use my voice.
I'm just trying to get I guess I don't care. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to get my sense of the structure here. I didn't realize that we had decided on those three kind of umbrella initiatives, which is fine. I mean, that sounds perfectly legitimate. And then the ranking or priority within each one seems reasonable. And then my only slight concern, if I can just throw one more thing out, is that we would silo ourselves into our little committees as opposed to be a commission. And so I'm wondering how we would avoid that, that the three of us on a given committee are going to try to push for the whole commission to advocate for our, little area. And, and so it seems to me we worked as a full commission. So, I mean, maybe it's better, the separation, and we'd get more done in small groups, because I think I've actually thought about that in the past, or even advocated for it. It's just something to bring up. It's just something that crosses my mind, which, don't want to just leave it in my mind. I might as well share it.
Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate that, Mark. I think one of the things, and Melissa, if I'm speaking out of turn, please let me know. One of the things that we had discussed is yes, we can accomplish more in a smaller group, but it's also, that group is really just kind of spearheading the things, and they always have to come back and report to the commission. Like, we always have to do this, yes, as a commission. And so it's just easier for 3 people to think and focus on something than it is for all 11-ish million of us. So I lose count. And so I think that was the reason. And the one of the reasons that it was the advocacy, education, and support is really, we just had a list of all these 20 items, and it was, easier to structure it when we were like, okay, where does this fall over? Oh, wait, here's our mission. These 3 words are in our mission. Let's see where all of this fits in our mission statement. So we did make a comment when we met and talked about the transition, is that some of these do overlap. Like, for example, where is it? The Common Arts and Culture calendar with the education campaign. Well, that kind of overlaps with a letter to the editor, because if that's a marketing something, you're going to have both sides. So we just had to kind of fine tune and or it was more of an organization of thoughts for these committees or subcommittees.
Yeah.
Did I say
yeah.
that?
Yeah, and I'll just chime in and we can open this up for discussion if needed. I'll just chime in that, in my discussions with Kelly, and I think the vibe from the group is a desire for more action, which I know can be a challenge given the current COVID world we live in, and these priorities certainly may change and evolve as we head towards a little bit more of a return to normal this summer and fall. But we only have an hour together every month as a group. So I'm hoping we can evolve to a subcommittee structure where, and by no means should this be time intensive, but I am hoping that we can each spend an hour or so outside of these meetings and outside of this group, either in our subcommittee function as, working together as a small group, or maybe your subcommittee prefers to, work on their own and get together briefly to chat, which, whatever works for each subcommittee. But I do think that these shouldn't be competing priorities. The subcommittee should, all members equal, all priorities equal. Now, if we come back as a commission and determine that we need to put a certain amount of effort behind, so say we decided to have our reconvene our large group for a half day or educational session, then of course maybe that takes priority for the entire commission. But I do see it as a way to advance our agenda and be a little more intentional about where we spend our time and energies. But certainly this group, hopefully will still serve that function of conversation and strategy and moving forward as a commission wholly, but with each subcommittee having specific priorities that each person feels a little more personally attached to and that they can specifically contribute to.
May I jump in?
Who's that? RJ?
That's RJ, yeah.
Hi, yeah, of course.
All right, hang on, I'll turn on my camera, sorry.
No, that's okay. I apologize. I'm trying to.
No, you're good. You're
Meryl,
good.
I missed your hand. So wave. I'm trying to. Thanks for bearing with me while I'm trying to see who's talking and raising hands and waving at me.
Absolutely. It's new, right? When you're in charge of it all, you have to actually be on that.
It is. I'm sweating. Kelly did a lot of hard work.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. First of all, congratulations, ladies. Melissa and Meryl, I wish you the best of luck in the chair. And I know Angelique and I were excited to see what you guys do. I'm really excited to see this. And the reason I like it is because, for where I'm at, I'm liking the idea of, what if everyone just kind of told you which of these 3 areas they would be most interested in like an email directly to you? Because for me, I'll be upfront about it. I'm all about the advocacy section of this. And so if there were a subcommittee on advocacy, I'd love to sit on it and focus my efforts there. So if, there's 11 of us and there's potentially 9 seats if only 3 of us can meet at a time. So if someone wants to be on one of them, what if we just kind of signed up silently and then go from there? So if 2 out of 3 fill up completely, those are our main focal points. You know what I mean? And tasks.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm hoping that can be an outcome of today's discussion. I wanted to at least provide an opportunity, and especially for Shweta being new, just to kind of hear what some of these subcommittees could do and a little bit of background on the priorities that we established. But we can kind of rattle on through those if there's no other questions. And then, yes, I see a hand.
Yes. So, sorry that forgot to mention that, if at the end of this call, if we can find little time to kind of, if you can brief me on what's the vision of this commission, I mean, and what's the goal of this commission, what are we trying to achieve in this year, it'll be kind of little bit more helpful and an education for me.
Yes.
I can see which group I align myself with.
Yeah. We can for sure find a time to talk. You popped up on our radar very quickly before this meeting, so I apologize we haven't had a chance to chat ahead of time. But and it is easier in person when we can present you with things like our strategic plan and our lovely binder and things like that. So yeah, we owe you some paperwork and some background, and we can gather that for you.
Excuse me, Melissa Sweta, this really is what we're doing here, is developing our plan for the year. So you're not really behind much. We're all right now trying to determine what is our next step forward, because we felt like, we ended last year successfully. And so you really are at the very beginning of what we're planning for the coming year. So you can wield a fair amount of influence, because we're very, very easily influenced.
Perfect. Sure.
Yes, we do have a strategic plan. There's some historical documents that would just probably be helpful to have, but Mark's right. We're year to year, we're, I think, a pretty nimble group and can adjust and have different sub priorities to move us towards our mission. And that little mission, again, is on the top of our agenda today, if you want to take a peek at that.
I wanted to make sure, did you get the notes? I thought I included you on the email, our new latest commissioner.
Yes, I did get an email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those should have all the notes on there, including the last two meetings, and each one of our notes have our commission statement. So just wanted you to know that, Melissa, some of that information has already been submitted. So that way it's not redundant, but you guys could look at it together.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And again, it's just, there's a lot of history and it can be overwhelming and a lot to read and probably not very entertaining, but yes, we can go over that together for sure.
Sure, interested.
Okay, any other comments or questions before we'll go through some education and support items and then next steps? Okay. So under education, this is where some of the ideas are about our calendaring, where we fit with the other calendar efforts that are already happening in our community and how we spread the word on those. What an awareness campaign look like for this group. I know we've had a couple of discussions about research and using other communities and the cool stuff they're doing as a model for things that can be done here. Obviously, many of us have lived in other places, so lots of input there would be great. The newsletter idea, again, is it wise and prudent to have our own newsletter, or again, do we fit better with the CVB and the functions that already exist? Sounds like not a lot of support and excitement around a Facebook group, which is just one more thing to manage. So again, I think this group, the education group, will have to balance and think through that push-pull. So how do we bring stuff into our group versus where are we, how do we represent outwardly, which is a lot like advocacy, but there's a lot of other work here about all those tactics within some of the groups that already exist. And I saw Kelly. Yes. How are you?
Just to talk about the overlap. So, common arts and culture calendar may likely be with the CVB, like if we really go after that one. But the educational campaign would be more under the education, but there is going to have to be some figuring out I put these items under these categories. It was just me, so we can agree to move some stuff too. Like the subcommittees may have to agree, like, okay, you do that, or you explore that, we'll explore this, and then we'll come together and like make a cohesive plan, maybe in broader meetings or something. Because yes, there's definitely some of these things that connect very strongly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other comments about education? Yes, sir.
This is Jong-Hoon Kim. For your benefit, I will pronounce one more time. So,
This is our cultural education for today.
It is.
Korean pronunciation is our lesson for today.
So, as all you know, this I'm not even 1 year anniversary for working for as an artistic manager. Right now, Jim and I have been working so hard to change the direction of our current BCPA and also Arena. And I am including Creativity Center as well. So if there is any chance that if we are going to have a newsletter in education part, of course, that's my goal for, from every generation, that we can reach out to people that what we do as a cultural commission, what we do as a cultural arts district, what we do as BCPA in the Arena, we have to educate our citizens so much right now. That's the urgent thing that I see. And that's what I decided in last, oh my God, it's almost 1 year, just 1 week shade. So almost 1 year, I decided that is the first thing we have to do. So education is very important, and I would love to, not being in the subcommittee, but I would love to be sitting there and observe all those conversation and things like that. And yeah.
Yes, Meryl.
I just want to, I love that being the liaison and one of the liaisons between the BCPA, the Cultural Center, the Cultural Arts, and our commission is really a good thing. And, I was hearing that, your goal as an employee of the city is to create a newsletter of some sort for, did I hear that correctly? Is that something that was in your grand plan?
Yes.
So then we would, that makes our job a little bit easier, because I'm inferring like, well, if they're going to have a newsletter, and well, we don't need to double down on that newsletter, but it could be because we have such that strong connection, the Cultural Commission can be a piece of that newsletter, so that's a way to kind of merge some together, but just, though at the same time we don't, but we are a commission of the city, so it does work.
Yes, and I think this will be a very good opportunity and working together. Last time, I think I mentioned this, Bloomington and also Normal have lots of different cultural groups, but they are so disconnected and they don't know what each others are doing it. So it is kind of time to include all those people and work all together and make this cultural art commission or any kind of activity a little bit stronger, and it has a very good foundation, and we can build on top of that for next generation and generation after. So I think this is really good opportunity that we can put our heads together and change the Central Illinois arts culture. Maybe we could be the catalyst for that.
Yeah, good thoughts.
Angelique, yeah.
Jean, the newsletter that you're talking about, Kara had emailed the people that are already in the building about events and stuff that they had going on. Is that the same newsletter that you're talking about?
It is not same, because that's more of fundraising part. I don't know. I have to think a little bit more if we are going to include all those at the same one. But here is a human thought. If something is too long or too big, people don't pay attention.
Right.
And something is too often, people don't pay attention. So we have to find a very good balance about it. So I am a person who find the direction and try to make it happen, but I have to consider all this in the newsletter part. So yes, we do have one thing that's for Friends of BCPA, which is fundraising for Creativity Center, right? But if we piggyback on that one, it's going to be too much. And in that case, Kara and I are going to fail at the same time. So I don't want to do that.
Well, I asked that because the one she sent out, she asked for all of our information and events and stuff. And then we all sent it to her. And then she emailed back with, well, we need 350 printed copies of each flyer. And I was like, we don't have the budget for that. So I was just making sure that if that was the same, that I make sure that I verbally say it needs to be a virtual option.
It is not for that. Actually, that is for the members, Friends of BCPA members only. So it's totally different. Thank you for asking though.
So this is a good conversation, and clearly we have a lot of options. This subcommittee will have a lot of options to think about. So, and it is hard. It is hard as when we're in a group setting like this, it's hard to determine where all do we need to be, and does it make sense to have something completely different and separate than all of these other functioning newsletters or groups who are desiring to have a newsletter. So I think it would be great for this subcommittee to even start with a list of what these options are and some pros and cons of each and how we move forward, because I don't know. I don't know what we should do. I don't know what would be best. And I know Kelly's had some great conversations with the CVB. I think we should do something, but how do we maintain it? How do we, whatever we do, how do we provide something of use and that will actually, as has been said, be read and utilized versus creating something just to create something.
Something valuable and also sustainable. So you have to it can't depend on just a person, or, I mean, it has to be kind of a process that is sustainable, repetitive. And there's something out there, you're right, but we'll have to close in on it. And we may have to try a couple of things and see how it goes. But I'm glad you're passionate about that, Jonghan. I appreciate that. So I like that idea too, but I'm also not exactly sure where the right pathway is.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm brainstorming about all those parts. How can I reach out to our citizens about cultural activities going on? My previous experience, when children know something, it connects to parents and grandparents right away, like this. But we cannot use that right now because it's a pandemic time. We have to find something very simple, but very effective, very powerful. And connecting generations and targeting specific generation, which will work for entire family altogether. That would be the best way to do it. But I haven't found the method yet.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple notes on support. And right now, this is where we have our CVB partnership. I imagine that will trickle into other subcommittees just based on our conversation here, where the calendaring function may be a need, plus advocacy. Again, it would be nice to have the CVB here, maybe quarterly. So that's something we can work out. But I think Kelly has volunteered even in our last meeting to spearhead that relationship. So I don't know that and Kelly needs to live in this subcommittee, but I do see that as a big function of our partnerships going forward. And then I do see the arts organization list in this group too. So again, this group working with advocacy, because the outward function of who we're sort of, for example, if we have 100 groups and we divide them into groups of 8, 10 per commission member, and everyone will have some sort of role in advocacy, and how that feeds into the other groups, I'm not sure, but we can't rely on any one subcommittee necessarily to be, checking in with folks and asking for newsletter items or calendar items or to come to the commission. So we'll have to think that through, but we definitely need some leadership on that list function, who those groups are, adding to it, updating it, and it would be great for this group to take the lead on that.
Which connects to what you're talking about, Zhang-Hun, that, there's one, part of that process might be, each commissioner has 8 to 10 artist groups, whatever, that's your little group set. And every month, you send them an email, like, hey, what's going on for the next 60 days? And then that's fed into a newsletter system or a calendaring system. So that you'd have direct outreach, which would show the value of the commission, and that they would see their submissions come out to the whole community in whatever way we can do that. So there's, and it would help keep the organizational listing up to date, because if we're better connected with individuals, then those are the ones that say, oh, they moved, or hey, did you hear about this new theater company? That's how we kind of keep that, because it's definitely word of mouth, but help them do that. So there's a process in there somewhere.
And again, just how we decide to convene this group, if we do a 2021 half day meeting of the minds, what does that look like, and when does that make sense? So I see the Public Arts Commission listed here, which again, I'll try to do some homework on, just so we can get an update on that. Did anyone, as we read through this, see something that's missing that we have talked about in past meetings, or something that, again, you can think about it too, but for our homework, if you're comfortable sharing and you want to share now, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll ask everyone to think through, and maybe send me, if you can, send me your top 2 choices, since we have the limit 3, that'll give us some flexibility to make sure we have enough folks for each subcommittee. And if you're comfortable leading that subcommittee, that would be awesome too. So that's our homework, unless you want to share now.
I'm not going to share a problem or anything, but it just occurs to me as we talk about this, that these subcommittees could possibly serve as a sort of self-organizing function. We'll all kind of gravitate toward our interests. And if something materializes, then that will maybe become a priority for the commission. I mean, so it's just my whole concern earlier about us siloing probably won't happen. This is in fact a mechanism to keep us on track for something specific, and because we all will recognize, and even last time when we had those priorities, certain priorities moved forward and other ones didn't really very much for whatever reason. So we might find, as we get involved and we put forward our own interests and our committee desires, that we all get on board and also shift, like you mentioned, from group to group as we find, I would really be able to work well on that one. I could be much more help there than I am over here doing this, which I'm not. It turns out I'm not that interested in this, or not that good at it, whatever the case may be. So it could be that this happens organically, but at least we've got something going here. I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm glad you used the word organic because I definitely, I hope that can be our approach. And someone already said, try it and see. Maybe we try this for a couple of months and we make some changes as we go, or we reconfigure or shake things up. So I'm completely open and flexible to doing all that. I think knowing all of you and how we've worked together so far, I think that's the general vibe of this group, and we can be cooperative and flexible and learn and change and grow.
Angelique, I think you had your hand up a little bit. Did you want to contribute? The squares change around the screen so much, it's hard to catch them.
I know it is. It's hard to see people.
So, well, yes and no. So the 2.7 and under education, arts and cultural awareness, that there has to be, that really ties into advocacy as well. There's two elements to that, because we are supposed to be advocating for them, but it's also how the education part is the how do we advocate for every single organization. Because my favorite one is on there, and it's definitely number one, the representatives from every organization, and something I've been very vocal about. But yeah, arts and cultural awareness is definitely a priority, but there's two parts to it. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that will have to be a partnership with the advocacy group for that to be as effective as it can be. And yeah, I will be on the advocacy subcommittee, just so you know.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, there's lots of overlap, and that's good. That will keep us accountable to each other and require that we are really good about communicating and sharing and working together, which, to Mark's point, will help us avoid some of those silos and competing priorities. So I think that's a good thing. But certainly if things shift and one subcommittee starts something and another subcommittee picks it up and runs with it, I think that's a good thing.
Or merge. Melissa, are we in fact at maximum for the ordinance for the number of commissioners?
We are. We're full.
Yes. Okay. We are full. If we find that we need more, we'd have to amend the ordinance and put it before City Council, which sounds like a big deal, but actually for something like that, if we decided we wanted to go from 11 to 13, I think odd numbers are good because of voting. Just solves that problem right out of the chute. That way you can't have a tie. But if we wanted to go to 12 or whatever, I don't see that would be a big deal. You just have to amend it, legal has to review it, they put it before council, and if we really, as we get through this process, be like, wow, we'd really like to have more. So we don't need any more right now, but if that comes to pass, that's certainly a possibility.
It sounds like a big deal, that process. It'd be easier just to fire one of us. Get a better person.
Right, that's a good point.
Too funny. All right. I think we've covered the agenda. And again, homework is, if you can, in the next couple of days, maybe by this time next week at the latest, just email me directly. Please don't reply all. You just email me directly your top two choices for subcommittees. And again, if you would like to lead that subcommittee, that would be awesome. I'll be accountable back to all of you by the end of next week to share back the subcommittees. So with the goal of each group having some sort of conversation between now and our next meeting, even if it's just going over the priority items and having your own small group discussion about those and how we move forward. Kelly, could you connect me with or whoever has it, the list of partners that we started? Okay. Yeah. And we need to figure out.
I have that, and
stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing private on it. It's all publicly available information as far as the organization's email and phone number and executive director. But I don't think it would be up for like, it wouldn't be something you'd want to post out there. These are
Yeah.
folks' emails. So, but I do think that however we could do that, Shannon or Jim could keep that just in city arts files, you know, and we could keep that updated, maybe a quarterly review. We would take charge of the updates, but I think that's something that could be stored in city files, because even if it was pulled for like a FOIA request, it's not, it's benign. So
yeah, I think I'm going to, we can chat about this. Just my thinking is I know we had a paper doc that we would pass around at the commission meetings, which was easy just to pencil in your changes.
Right.
I think I'll toss it up and make a Google sheet out of it. So we can at least crowdsource all the edits and into one document. So that'll be something I'll owe all of you before our next meeting also. So subcommittees, maybe a subcommittee chat, and then the partner list will be our biggies between now and our February meeting.
And then can I just be clear? Are we going to try to make 3 subcommittees, and then that would be 3 on each one, which leaves 2 people who are, what do you call, at large?
Yeah, I think Meryl and I will take the at-large duties and be the liaison to the chairperson for each subcommittee. So Mark, if you're education, and that you lead that subcommittee, you and I, or you and Meryl would then have a conversation about, you know, your subcommittee and what you're up to. That way we can help and be like, drop in on all of you, but we can't attend your meetings and be that 4th person.
Right.
So I think that will work.
it's an opportunity to get agenda items for our monthly meetings too. So like maybe Melissa or Meryl touch base with the committee chair on a particular day, week out or something, to make sure that anything for the large group gets put on the agenda, because that's kind of a process that's time boxed as well. This computer says it wants to restart. It's a city computer, but it says
it's time. Shweta, you're also on my, I will be in touch with you. I apologize. I don't think we can stick around on this Zoom, and I have to run to another meeting, but I will find a time for the 2 of us to connect separately.
That'll be fantastic.
I think that's,
it's great to see everybody.
We've made it, our first meeting. 2021 is happening, you guys.
It is happening.
Zhang's hand.
Actually, it's actually favor. Right now, I'm trying to create something for educational student spotlight program. So if you know any public schools teacher, Bloomington and Normal, and any others, theater, music, arts teachers, if you know personally, would you please introduce me via email? I tried to contact them by myself. They don't respond.
Hard time to teachers' attentions right now, so try not to take it personally.
I can initiate one for you.
Yeah, I can hook you up with the Metcalf folks. That's where my son goes to school.
All right. Thank you.
I got you, Elsa.
All right, everyone. I think we're adjourned. It's 8:31. Have a great week, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.